Hello, here we are. We're going to have a look at something today called the armature of the rectangle. This is something which is very ancient, goes all the way back to ancient Greece, and I believe by a guy by the name of Pythagoras, the bane of lots of teenage kids, Pythagoras. Anyway, you can see a little bit of my shoulder, lots of funny lines. Before we just get into that, I just want to give you a little bit of the history of it. So, here's the story. One day Pythagoras is walking down the road, and as he's walking down the road he goes past a blacksmith's, and he notices as he's walking past that when the blacksmith's hammer hits something, he doesn't know what, piece of metal, a different note can be heard, which suggests that Pythagoras has got a very good ear. But anyway, he's curious about this, so he goes inside the blacksmith's forge, and there he sees the blacksmith hammering away on a metal bar, an iron bar. And what he notices is that the sound made when the hammer strikes the metal bar is particularly pleasing when he strikes halfway down the bar, or a third, or a quarter, or a fifth. And these become the origin, I suppose, of in music, perhaps thirds, quarters and fifths. And it turns out that these relationships, these fractions, aren't just pleasing to the human ear, they're also relationships pleasing to the human eye. And I can only imagine that the Greeks didn't have measuring sticks, because what they developed was a way of dividing up rectangles into halves, thirds, quarters and fifths, or to find the halves, thirds, quarters and fifths of rectangles using geometry, which is what that thing's about, producing lots of funny angled lines. And this thing, it's an amazing compositional tool. I can't recommend it strongly enough. I bore my students endlessly with it, largely because most of them don't do it for some reason. I must be a very poor salesman. Anyway, definitely would recommend this. It makes a mechanical approach to something which we as human beings do naturally. But as with all natural things, some do it better than others. So if visual rhythm, where you put something, where you leave a space, where you put something else, if that's not really your forte, the armature of the rectangle will help you. And in the end, that's really all we're trying to do, isn't it? Find approaches to produce effective pictures is kind of what we're about as artists. Okay, so enough of that. I'll get into this. A largely fully prepared armature of the rectangle. The white lines is the armature of the rectangle. The little sort of Naples yellow lines are just indicating where the halves, thirds, quarters and fifths have fallen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk you through it, about the sequence of where to put these lines. There is only one thing you have to do first, and the first thing you've got to do is you've got to find the middle, which is there, and to do that you go from corner to corner to corner to corner, create sort of a solitaire cross, and where the two lines cross, boom, that is the middle. It has to be the middle. It cannot not be the middle. Okay, and let's see, I've just drawn up some little Naples yellow lines here. And in effect then we've now got, within one big rectangle, 4 equally sized smaller rectangles in the same proportions. Voila. Okay. Now, after that, it doesn't really matter too much about in which sequence you put the rest of the lines in, but I'm going to go with middle to middle. So we just found the middles. So middle to middle, there you go, that one, that one, that one, that one. Middle to middle, creates like a diamond across the middle there, doesn't it? Right, where these lines cross, here we go, there they are, middle to middle to middle to middle. Where these lines cross, there we are, there's that one, here's that one, and this one here, of course, going that way. These are all the quarters. These lines, these proportions work in both the vertical and the horizontal axis. There we are. Now I've got the quarter slots of this rectangle. Now the next one then is corner to middle. So let's go corner to middle. On this side, same again, corner to middle. Over on this corner now, going up, corner to middle, and corner to middle. Right, where this line crosses this line, which is the first one you put on, going corner to corner, that is the third. Likewise on this side. This line here, where it crosses this line here, there we go, that is the third. Bump, 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 third, okay. So we've got the quarters, we've got the thirds. It's also confirming, let's have a look, when we're going corner to middle, that way, and it's crossing that middle to corner, corner to middle, that way. I've not marked it on, but that is the fifth. And finally, corner to middle, where it's crossing middle to middle, there we have it, that is the sixth. So that's how these lines divide up a rectangle into its internal halves, thirds, quarters, fifths on both axes, because again I've not drawn it on, but where corner to middle, this line, has crossed corner to middle, that line, that's the fifth. That same line then crossing middle to middle, that's the sixth. Okay, I think that'll do for this. Of course, knowing how to draw one isn't the same thing as knowing how to use one. I think we'll say that for another day.